So today we are going to do a 224. It's not that much complicated. We have only few steps. It's not like we did in a 223, but still we need to have some brainstorming here. I will try to make it easy and clear, and let's talk what is all about. I will get my pen over here and let's explain. So do you remember that, guys? We have our own computers, and from this computer we are logging to the PLTW machine, and from this PLTW machine we are connected to our web server, and each of them, they have IP addresses. If you do not remember, that is okay, but by the time, since we are using the same IP all the time, so I do believe you remember that. So the IP was 172.30.0.15. So that IP is for that machine, that web server that we are going to use. And since that is the web server, it holds a website that will be publicly posted to everybody. So everybody can reach and see what is the website is all about. So there is two ways to get to that website. I can type the IP and get the website and read it, or I can just write a name of the website. So they didn't put the name yet. So for example, I will say that is a test.com, and I'm just giving sample because they didn't specify any website yet. So just make sure that you understanding that typing IP or typing the name, it will bring to the same server, okay? And also we were talking about, so right now, let's imagine I have a certain IP. If I do not specify what is the extension is, it is going to bring me a default website, which is my main website. If I say that, hey, from the 172.300 and 15, can you bring ABC HTML? What does it mean that? On the web server, we have a different web pages. By the way, website and the web pages, they are different. So we have a different web pages, and that is going to bring the specific one. If you do not specify anything over here, it is going to bring as a default the main website to us. So that was number one. So what is the number two? We learned already what is the FTP stands for. So that is the FTP. So what is the FTP is? We have our web server. Okay, that is my web server. And you are a cybersecurity specialist, you are a network guy, and let's imagine you are working in the CNN.com, and we have a lot of news reporter. Is it right? So we have a lot of news reporter. So they need to put the news inside, so all the people from outside, they can see what is going on. But you are a little concerned that if you give a permission to go inside, they will mess up with the server. So what you can say that, hey, I will give you a FTP permission. That means whatever you do on your computer, it will come to the server. So it is going to be synced somehow. So for instance, we are using the same on our system. So we have a Schoology and we have a PowerSchool. Whatever I'm doing on the Schoology, it is getting transferred to the PowerSchool. So we are using our FTP server, and we are using FTP port. Uh-oh, something new. So right now, after this point, guys, we are going to talk about ports, okay? And let's see what is the port stands for. So we already agreed what is the IP stands for, and in the details, we will not get into that much details, like what kind of IPs we have. We have an IP4, we have an IP6, we have a TCP IPs, and so on and so on. But just keep in mind, we have a one system of IP that we are going to deal here in the cybersecurity. So, and also, let's imagine that is my server, and that has a certain IP. Okay. And also the server has a port. What does the port mean? So the port can be physically, or the port can be as a software like on the machine. So let's talk about physically first. So we have kind of plugs here. So what by saying a plug, what I mean, so the cables are connected to here. So we call it physical port, and each of them, they have a name. And for instance, like in each of you, most of you, like whenever we use a TV at home, so we have the HDMI port, or we have an Ethernet port, or we have in our phones we have a charger port, we have a earphones port. So all of them are ports. So some information will go in or it will go out. Okay, so that is ports. But this is the only limited. Some ports, they are not physical. I mean, like, they have one port over here physically, okay? But inside from the software, we can split them. I can call it, we have, so let's imagine I have one cable only, which is coming in and out. But on my software in the server management, we are going to manage them. We will say, hey, I want to split this port in different parts. Let me call it A, B, C, and D. Okay, so that is going to be split somehow. So that is number one. So what is next? So since we know what is the port is, and usually port, it is written in after the IPs. So what I mean with IP, so let's imagine we have IP like in 10, 0, 0, 0, 1. Oops, let me just write it one more time. I just a little bit messed up. So 10, 0, 0, 1. So that is IP. I just came up. It's just a random IP. So I want from my computer to the server, I want to send something or I want to receive something from the server, okay? But I'm telling that, hey, I'm trying to reach to that server, which is 10.0.0.1, and I want to use the port number 25. So what I can say that I will make with 2 dots and I will say 25. Uh-oh. But in some books, they are write in a different way. They say 10.0.0.1 and slash 25. So in some cases, they put a slash. In some cases, they put 2 dots. So today we will learn 2 dots. So what does it mean? I want to connect to that machine using that port. That is good. So you see, guys, each of them, they have a name. And there's a bunch of ports, and we'll just go inside just one by one, and we will analyze not all of them, but main ones. So we already covered what is the IP and what is the ports. So today we will just make some configurations on the ports, because some ports, you as a specialist or you as a network guy, you need to manage your server somehow. It depends in what environment you're working. If you're working in the hospital, different situation. If you're working in the CNN or any TV station, different. If you work in college, let's imagine you are an IT guy in MIT University, and you have thousands of the students with like, there's a lot of data floating. So you need to figure out what kind of ports and what to do with them. Okay, so we are done with that. So do you remember that we were talking about FTP? FTP is just one of the servers, services that we have our computer and we have a server. So I can transfer my file to the server, and from the server I can get to my. So we have in and out. That is one of the servers. So today we're gonna learn what is the SMTP. Uh-oh. That is something new. SMTP is for the mail servicing. So let's imagine, just imagination that we have our computer, that is a computer A, and I want to send the email to this computer B, okay? And of course, we cannot send like from here all the way to here. So at least in the between, we need to have one web server, at least, maybe sometimes 2, 3, 4, or it depends on what kind of server you're using. But that is a simple situation. So whenever you send, you see that is your input. Whenever you send email to the server, so you are using SMTP port. So you are saying, hey Gmail, I want to send the email to the teacher or to the student. So physically in the behind your screen, you are sending to the Gmail. I'm not sure what is the IP of the Gmail or Google. So you are using the Google's IP dot 25, and the 25 stands for SMTP. And the SMTP is just to receive something. So using the SMTP port, we cannot send it back. We just receiving. So that is gate for receiving something. If they finish receive it, they will close it. But it cannot go to the other side. But if you want to send it back here or send it to the other, so you need to use the pop dot something, something. So you will be having different port. So, but today we are going to talk about what is SMTP. That is good. So let me just go one by one and what are the steps, and we will analyze them. So I just made a small introduction about what is the IP, what is the port in general, and today we're gonna talk about SMTP. Okay, so that is the SMTP, and you need to be aware, guys, because especially in Unit 3, whenever we are going to deal with the Linux, so if somebody will say, hey, go ahead and configure, like make a configuration on SMTP. So you need to have that understanding what he or she is talking about. So the SMTP stands for to receive information, and that's it. You will close your gates. But you see, is it dangerous, guys? So let me just illustrate it one more. So that means you have a server, you have somebody, but what if that is the bad guy? He wants to send you because you have your SMTP port. So that means he or she can send you anything that is going to destroy your web server. So right now we are going to make some, like we are going to picture that what is bad, and is there any way that I can close that one? Imagine that you are working in the company that you don't need to have the inputs. You are not using emails, or it's not a CNN.com, you are not receiving anything. So right now today, we will see how can I close this port. So these bad guys, they will not send me anything, okay? So let's say, uh, that was kind of introduction. So you need to open that form. So right now I'm going to, so that is my environment. Okay, now I will go to the connections and I will connect to my server. I already connected over here. So that is my second computer. Okay, so right now I need to generate a text file. So you see, I don't see the files. Do you remember that we had the log files in the previous one? Today we are going to generate another text document that is going to show me how many ports are available and how many ports are working right now. So I need to run this my PowerShell, and on the PowerShell I'm going to type that one. So that is netstat. So yeah, that is kind of coding. It's a scripting. So if you Python guys, if you are Java guys, you know, so we have some syntaxes, we have some codes to type. And unfortunately here in cybersecurity, we also need to make some coding skills. So netstat, and let me just type it. Oops. I will type, it's netstat and an, is it an? Yes, and I will save it to the document. I will show you what is going on. Desktop, and let me call it nets.output. And I will show you what is that. So nets.output txt. So right now, if you see on my desktop, I do not have anything. If I run it, so something is going to pop up. Since I click it here, whenever I come back, it's not working. So I need to run it again. Let me just open. Let me put it over here. So I will say netstat an desktop netstat output.txt. Let me see. So right now you see it generated a new document right now, and I will log in and I will see what is going on. So this document is showing me what kind of different ports are available and which one is open. So right now you see I have a different IPs. So whenever I'm talking about 000, that is my machine. So that is the web server. So whenever you log in with your account, it's a 000, but if you log in from outside, it's 172 dot something something something. You see, so it's whenever it's a 00, it understands that it's a local machine. So the port number 21 is open, the port number 25 is open, the port number 80, and all these ports are open. So another issue is we need to understand what is 21 stands for and what is the 25 stands for. And I have a 80, 88, 135, 389, and so on and so on. Here is the documentation. It's already here. You can download from the website. It's over here. You see on the step number 7. It is going to bring this documentation that is kind of universal. So the people, the IT guy, they just agreed which number represent what port. So instead of saying SMTP or something, so they just give the number. So right now, since we are working with the SMTP, so do you see how many ports are available? There is a lot, you see, and each of them they are ports. So right now we are working with SMTP, which is 25. So that means if you see anywhere, not here in cybersecurity, anywhere in the world, if somebody will say, hey, I'm using my port 25, it will just come to your mind saying, yes, that is SMTP, that you are receiving emails. Okay, so that is my SMTP. So it looks like my SMTP is running. You will say, maybe it's not good, and you decided to close it. You will say that, hey, I don't need it open because I'm not receiving any emails. I'm not receiving any documents. I don't need it. So let me just go ahead. I will close it. So by the way, you will take a snapshot of here. So there's I believe 3 snapshots for this assignment. So one of this a snapshot just to see if you can find. So you need to just highlight it and take a snapshot, and that's it. So I will just go ahead and close that FTP, SMTP, sorry. But before going to the SMTP, let me just analyze. You see, I just closed my server. I'm just minimize it. And from my PLTW website, I will go to my server. I will say HTTP. By the way, HTTP is another type of the ports. You see, so HTTP, and I will say, let me. I believe 172.30.0.15, and that is one of the website fnf.html. I'm trying to get to that website. Let me run it. It says that website is not exist. Okay, that is absolutely fine. So, but this information, you see, I have error information. So that is the detailed error information. So in some cases, that is good. It gives you information. But the hackers, they like it. They see what is going on and they see what is the error. So what we can do now? So my goal is, I have 2 goals today. First, I want to close the SMTP. I will not receive anything. Okay, that is the first step. And the second step, let me just close this error message. I don't want the hackers to see my error. So I will not display this any error. So even this error is giving the good information for the hackers. So you see, so right now we have 2 goals. One of them is closing the SMTP. The second one, I will just get it out. Like, this error will not pop up on the screen anymore. So the first, what I can do, let me just close it one more time. So I have my document here. And do you remember from the last time, from the server management, we have a lot of services here. So inside of one server, we have different services. And last time we were talking about IIS, which is Internet Information Services. Okay, so let me just go ahead. I will click on the first one, which is 6.0. I will just click on that one. And it says the SMTP. Yes, and SMTP is running. I want to close it. So if I close it, bam. So right now, my port is not working. So nobody can send any information to my server. That is good. Perfect. And I want to test it. If I want to test it, let me just go one more time. Sorry. I want to see if that is a real closet. What I can do is I will run my PowerShell again. I will run one more time to see if that was really closet. I will say Netstat an, and let me put that in the desktop. Oops. I will say desktop. Let me call it ttt.txt. I'm just forgetting right now. You see nothing here. I'm going to generate new report. You see, let me just run it. I have a TTT right now. You see, I generated. Let me just double click. Yes, my 25 is not here anymore. That means I closed my 25 port, which is good. So we succeed. That is good. That it was number one. Oops, reconnect, please. Yes. I have about 28 minutes left. So I'm done with my first task. That is a snapshot. And the second one, that I want to close that error message. Do you remember that it was giving error message to the hackers? So what I'm going to do is, from my server manager, I will go to the tools. I will go to the second IIS. So there's a two IIS, one of them for the SMTP. The second one, I will go here. I will get my website. There is my website. The website is here as a default. And now that is error pages. So we can make a configurations what we want to give to the people whenever they see the errors. So if I double click on that one, so right now what I can say that edit that. So I will go ahead and edit. I will just get not a detailed error. I will not give the information to my hackers, and I will say that, hey, I want to make a custom. Let me just, okay, and oh, that is fine. So let me just go to my local machine, and I will run it one more time. Let me just close it because I need to refresh it. So right now I will go to the HTTP. Why it's not typing? Oh, guys, I need to. That is the bad side of the virtual stuff here. I hope I will not wait that much long. Now I will type http://172.30.0.15, and I want to go to the website fnf.html. Let me just run it. Ba-bums. Yes, it says that there is no website and that's it. I'm not giving detailed information to the hackers. So you see, so I closed my SMTP server, SMTP port, so nobody can send me anything. And I also hide the type of the error. So they don't need to know what is going on. So the page was not found and that's it. Yes, that is only 3 steps. The first one is you need to generate that report where you see which port is open. The second one, you need to close the SMTP port, and the third one is you need to make modifications on the error page. Is it too much for you guys? I want to see a couple comments, guys. What do you think about this assignment? Yes, I will go ahead and post it on the Schoology. By the way, I received a couple messages on the Zoom. I will go ahead and reply them. But that is all for today.